Thanks for joining me for a quick clean with me. Barley and Rye's litter boxes need to be changed, and, well, everything else needs to be swept out and wiped down. If you're new here, I'm Madison, and this is Barley on the left, Rye on the right. Barley was adopted from our, coincidentally, local butcher, whose daughter was breeding Holland Lops for show bunnies. And on the right, we have Rye, who was an adoption from a local shelter. He came in as a stray. Don't really know a whole lot about his history, but one thing I do know is that he is definitely litter box trained. I don't really have to worry about him too much, which is very, nice, considering I'm training Barley from scratch. Barley seems to be catching on quickly, but we'll see how that goes. These two are unbonded. Rye was fixed on the day that I picked him up, which was September 10th. Barley was only 2 months, so I have to wait for them to hit that 4 to 6 range before they can get fixed, and then wait for that to heal, and then we can start on the bonding process. Here I'm showing you I use my vinegar and water mix for disinfecting and spraying down to clean. It's 1 part water, 1 part vinegar. Distilled white vinegar, that is. Makes it nice and easy. I try to dump the litter boxes first, so that way I can spray them down, let those set, and actually disinfect. I then take out all of their supplies from their pens and then sweep them down. I typically like to let them kind of come out and free roam while I'm doing their pens, so that way they don't feel like they're trapped in there and I'm chasing them around. So Rye does come out eventually. Not very much, but he does. But like I was saying, Barley is still really young. Do have to wait for them to get spayed or neutered. I'm leaning more towards Barley being a boy from what I can tell. So he'll be neutered. As you can see, I do have their pens side by side now. They were across from each other, in one corner and then kind of catty-cornered across the room. But they're now side by side, and you may notice while they're free roaming, they do kind of go over and visit each other. They seem to be making friends from what I can tell. They do groom each other from here, in between the bars on occasion, but there's not been any fighting. There is some thumping here and there, but I count that to them being drama queens. As you can see, I am tossing his stuff off to the side. He doesn't appreciate it. And I do want to apologize. There's a lot of just straight up butt shots of mine. So, yeah. We listen and we don't judge. Except for here, we watch and we don't judge. Now, you may notice they're litter boxes. They're actually cat litter boxes that I picked up from Home Goods. They're little domed ones. Where you can pull off the top to really get to the bottom and wipe it down and clean it, which personally I am loving. And they were pretty cheap. They were under $20, which is awesome. Great steal. And then they have their little houses. Rye has a Halloween one. I couldn't find him a non-Halloween one. Barley does have a little garden house. So those are kind of their hides. I do try to keep some toys in there with them. I recently had to take their jingle balls out because they've been playing with them at 3 a.m. So humans don't appreciate that. So those stay on the outside of the pins, but I try to keep some crinkled paper, some toilet paper rolls, that sort of thing. I do keep their hay in their litter box. So you'll see when I actually fill up after I wipe down the litter box, you'll see I fill it up with the recycled paper litter, and then I top that off with the Timothy hay. As you can see, Rye is super, I don't know, I guess you could say confident. He's not afraid to follow and everything else, and he's really chill. I do feel like he was someone's rabbit before and managed to just get out of the house, and that's why he came in as a stray. Mostly because he's almost definitely litter trained, and the fact that he's not really skittish around people, which is kind of shocking to me. Barley, on the other hand, is still figuring out his life. He's still so young and so cute. but it's gonna take him time to figure some things out, get used to people, get used to me and his space, that sort of thing. Now, their little hidey homes are actually like cat scratch homes. So they do have like some compressed cardboard inside, like scratch pads, so that way they can kind of dig at those and chew at them if they want. So I find that it's a nice duo between enrichment and an actual hide, which is kind of why I picked them. I do take their bowls off. I refreshed his water, which, fun fact, rabbits drink about the same amount of water as a small dog per day. I originally had some gravity feeder waters, which I thought was going to be really smart, because I figured, oh, they'll just always have fresh water. I won't have to worry about it. No. These boys like to throw stuff in their water. Rye will kick Timothy hay in his. Barley, on the other hand, will throw anything and everything into his water bowl. So he can't be trusted. So I switched to these little veggie bowls for their water dishes, so that way it was easier to just dump and clean and not have to worry about it, make it a little easier for maintenance. And then they have their little pumpkin dishes, which is where I put their pellets for them to eat in the morning and evening. You will notice I don't have them in crates. If you watched Barley's coming home video, then you know he was in a small crate for like 2 days. And that was because these pins hadn't come in yet. So they are a 16 panel dog exercise pin. The panels are just under 32 inches wide, and then they are 36 inches tall, I believe. I'll have to double check that. But I have them arranged in 2x2s, so they're roughly 25 square feet each. And then underneath I have some washable rugs that do have a waterproof layer to them, so that way I don't have to worry about the floors getting damaged. As you can see, I've got their compressed paper, recycled paper litter that I am scooping into their boxes. If you watched my Get Organized short, then you'll recognize these bins. I picked these up at Home Goods, and to be honest, I am obsessed. The wheels work great, the hinge is great, it opens nice and wide, it's containing everything I need it to. It was a great buy, and I'm definitely happy I picked these up. But like I said, I keep the Timothy hay in their litter boxes, so I'm plopping some in there, and then I'll put the lid on, put that back into Rye's little space, and then I move over to Barley's to get him just as clean. So I'm undecided on how I want to rearrange this room long term. Once the pair are officially bonded, I will be putting them together in one pin. Now, whether or not I will do a 2x4 or a 2x3, I'm still undecided. The 2x3 option does fit on one individual rug really nicely, and then I can always have this other rug separate for when they're actually free roaming, so they have a space to kind of hop around on and run around on. Because the floors we have are I want to say they're like a laminate wood kind of situation, so their soft paws don't grip great. So they do need something to actually kind of run around on, because they do not care for our floor, and I don't blame them. Now, this is our formal dining room. We don't use it as a dining room, so that's why I'm kind of giving this space to the rabbits. But because it's the dining room, it's kind of an odd shape situation. We have the 2 windows on the front of the house, and then there's a small 5.5 foot wall behind me, behind where the camera is right now, and that's where our front door is on the other side. It's like a small entry cove, and then we have the pantry on the far right side, and then everything else is kind of just open into the foyer. So it's a very odd shape. So I don't know where I want to put the crates or the pins. I am thinking I'm going to keep it on the side that they're on, and then maybe do a library built-in shelf storage around the wall with the windows. That way I can store all of their extra supplies, the fish supplies, the dog supplies, all of those goodies. And I just stepped in the litter box. Devastation. Not happy about it. But thankfully, the litter that they have clumps together nicely, so it wasn't too bad to clean up. It was just a moment of, yeah, I just spilled a third of this dirty litter box out on the rug and out on the floor. Love that for me. But back to rearranging of the room, long-term plans. I do want a comfy chair for myself. I think I want like a low poof so that way I can like get down on the floor with them. Right now I am stealing my son's play couch cushion and kind of laying out with them. So long term I do want something a little more nice. I do plan on putting my standing desk in this room because I do work from home 3 days a week. So I do want my workspace in here. So that way I'm no longer sitting in the corner of my room or in bed working from home, because that's just long-term not an option. I have been pulling together some inspiration for what I want for them. As of right now, I don't want to put too much in their individual pins, so that way they have enough room to like run around and do what they want when they aren't free roaming. But I do want like an extra large litter box for them, so that way when they're free roaming they have somewhere to go. And then I do want like one of those bunny castle kind of situations where, you know, they've got a place to hide, they can get on top, they've got a bridge, you know, something to keep them interested and moving, but also serve that purpose of a nice little hide. So if you have any suggestions, let me know. Send me some pictures of your setups. I'm looking for inspiration. As you can see, our home is gray, blue, white. It is more of a traditional feel because of the the chair molding. So that is more the way that I lean. So again, send me your inspiration. I'd love to see it. I am gathering some supplies, and eventually, once the two are officially bonded and put together, I will be doing like a full room transformation and setup, so look forward to that. I'm also recently on the hunt for small businesses that have, you know, like bunny enrichment, that sort of thing. So like foraging mixes, toys, just kind of different things. And, you know, again, small business. I'd like to support somebody small rather than, you know, Petco, Home Goods, TJ Maxx, PetSmart, that kind of deal. While I do love those stores, I am trying to make that shift to more small business minded. So I am looking for those. I have looked at the pig room. I do like a lot of his stuff. I do have a cart ready from him. I have looked at Dave the Farmer, I think is what it's called. And he has a lot of Timothy Hay mixes, blends, treats, a lot of apple woods, different other woods, dried fruit, that sort of thing. So I am planning on putting an order in with him. I just haven't gotten around to hitting checkout, but I am looking for some smaller things. I would love to go to an actual like small pet focused store, like a mom and pop, like brick and mortar. That is honestly, like, I'm on the hunt for one of those just to go and see, just because, you know, I think that'd be great. I think it'd be fun, something a little different, because, you know, if you go to your Petco and your PetSmart, then you know they are pretty limited on the small pet stuff, especially rabbit specific. One way I am supporting small businesses is I have some microfiber cloths that I have purchased specifically for the rabbits. You'll see in this video I did use paper towels for wiping down all their stuff, and that's because I am waiting for those microfiber cloths to be embroidered with their kind of like head silhouettes on the corners, so that way, one, they're cute, they're on brand, and two, my husband knows not to use them. I'm trying to avoid any crazy chemicals on them because if you know, you know, rabbits are super sensitive. Their respiratory systems are sensitive. They're just very temperamental animals. So I wanted to do that, and it is a friend that does it. She has her own embroidery machine. She's got her own small company, which I will link in the description below. But yeah, once I get those all done and back, I will be so excited to show you guys. I can't wait. They're gonna be so cute. Funnily enough, her husband is also a woodworker, so I am on the fence as to whether or not I want to download like SVG files for a CNC machine, which they do have for that like bunny castle. I just haven't decided what I want as far as like construction style. I know I want it to be interlocking. I don't want it to require rubber bands, just because Rye's already chewing his bell ball, which is rubber, so part of the reason why I had to take it away from him. And then I don't want to be dependent on screws. While I know that that would be, one, easier, and two, maybe a little more secure, I do think I prefer the interlocking methods. And then I just need to decide the size, what shape entry. I know I want a bridge, which isn't that hard to construct. It would just be I hooks and C hooks and that sort of style. But yeah, and I haven't decided how big of a castle I want to go. But that again is dependent on how I arrange their pin, where I put their pin, that sort of thing. And then long term. So we do have a dog, Amelia, who is a Labradoodle. She is basically a standard poodle. She's about 65 pounds. I do have to work on introducing her to the boys. I'm thinking I'm going to wait until they're fully bonded, so that way they have each other to kind of like lean on when they're stressed. I've already started to kind of show Amelia that yes, they exist. She's not allowed over by their crates because the girl can jump, and if she figured it out, she'd be in there, no problem. So we do have quite a lot of moving pieces in this house. We do have a son who is 3. He'll be 4 this coming April, and of course he's obsessed with the boys. However, he is learning gentle hands first and foremost. He has not yet figured out how to get their gates open, thank God. But you know, having him around, it is a learning process for him as well. As you can see, this is, well, the beginning of our journey. They've been in our home for like 2 weeks now. Yeah, actually 2 weeks exactly. So there is a little bit of a learning curve. We are starting with baby steps. I am planning on doing a nice haul video of everything that I've recently purchased, all the supplies that I have for them, and then before I do the room makeover when they're bonded, I plan on doing a haul for what I buy for them as far as like joint home ownership, if you will. I also will be doing their bonding journey. So there's a lot to come, and I hope you guys join us along the way. Make sure to like and subscribe for more of our Barley and Rye content. Enjoy the rest of the clean with me.